Hi guys, I'm just another guy named James, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my all-time favorite superhero, Iron Man. But unfortunately, I'm going to be talking about his downfall. So Iron Man was coasting along really well for a long time, and Iron Man got amazing when a new creative team took over in 1978 or so. And that team was David Michelinie as the writer slash plot, Bob Layton as plot slash inks, and John Romita Jr. as pencils. And they worked great together. They came up with some of the better Iron Man stories that exist. But yeah, and they hung on to Iron Man for a long time, actually, for a few years. But they ended up leaving, going their separate ways. And I want to say that I know that Bob Layton came back, but I want to say that David Michelinie did too. And I'm gonna so yeah, Layton and Michelinie came back to work on Iron Man after about a 3-year hiatus. I'm not sure if Michelinie ever left, but yeah. Anyway, and when they came back great with this story called Armor Wars. And basically, in this story, what it was Tony as Iron Man taking out everybody that had stolen his technology and was using it without his knowledge. And that was all great. And Iron Man continued being great up until Iron Man number 255. Because at Iron Man 255, Michelinie and Layton left. And John Romita Jr. had developed his own style by then. His own style wasn't great. And once that happened, the stories got worse, and yeah. And the big downfall with Iron Man came the first time. Yeah, the first time Iron Man died. Not confusing at all. Yeah. Because the first time Iron Man died, everybody just kind of thought he was dead, and then he ended up not being dead, and he had to get his body put back together, and it was weird. It was really weird, but yeah. So after all that happened, War Machine, who is James Rhodes, in case you didn't know, has taken over the mantle of Iron Man. He is acting as Iron Man in Tony Stark's death. He ends up keeping the armor and becoming War Machine, separate, and he hates Tony now because he lied to him about him being dead. That was kind of weird. But then Iron Man comes back, but he can't walk, he can't be in the armor. So he's controlling the armor mentally somehow. That was weird. It was all kind of weird. And then after all of that happens, Iron Man kind of goes on these few missions. He regains the ability to walk and all that, and he comes back. He starts fighting again inside the armor now. And after that happens, you know what they decide to reveal about Iron Man, the geniuses at Marvel in the 90s? He's been a villain the whole time. Yeah, he's a traitor. And that just sucked. And something that ended up happening was adult Iron Man died. And teenager Iron Man, kid Iron Man, ended up coming back and taking his place. Don't ask me why, I don't know. But I don't know, it just feels like that the ending to the comic, because that's basically how it ended, that takes away from everything that the comic's been building up to. Because the point of the comic is that Tony Stark is a good person. He stops making weapons after he comes to a realization that weapons can hurt people that they're not supposed to. But when you end up having him be a villain the whole time, it takes away from the 30-year history, more than 30, from the like 35-year history you've been building up for this guy. And it just feels cheap. Feels like you were trying to find something to do with a character, and you just happen to throw the dart into Iron Man's name. And for someone like me who's a big Iron Man fan, I love Iron Man, he's my favorite. You can't see it right now, but I've got stacks of Iron Man comics right here. It stinks. It just seems lazy. It seems insulting to the readers because they've been holding on to Iron Man for such a long time. And then he's just a bad guy. And the point of Iron Man is kind of that Tony isn't the bad guy. That he's a nice person in the comics. He tries to be kind to people. He does his best. But then when you have him become a villain, it seems like everything that he's doing is just a lie. But it's also insulting because they don't expect us to believe that everything that he's done is evil. They shouldn't expect that. They shouldn't expect us to think, oh, him going after the people that are killing people with his technology, yeah, that was because he's a bad guy. They shouldn't force us to think like that, but they kind of are. And it's unfortunate. The way I kind of see Iron Man is John Romita Jr. killed Iron Man. He killed Iron Man's art, at least, for a long time. It regained it. It caught up to itself at like 300. But then it just got destroyed again at 307, 8. But anyway, because after John Romita Jr. worked, everybody kind of had to copy his style. So Paul Ryan, who's capable of doing some nice Iron Man artwork, he worked on Avengers, and you can see it there. He had to draw a not very good Iron Man. And and Marvel kind of ruined the character of Iron Man for the fans, for people like me, who everything is on the table as far as it comes to with comics, especially from 70s, 80s, 90s. It's kind of a letdown. I mean, there shouldn't be any reason for me to care about Iron Man now. But there is. He's compelling. His title's got good art. He's a fun character. He has fun side characters. He should be the kind of character that should never have to become evil. And Marvel did the same thing with Captain America a couple of years ago, where they made Captain America, where they had it revealed that Captain America was a Hydra agent the whole time. They don't learn. They should know that people like their heroes to be heroes. And just kind of let it be that way. But anyway, I'm going to let this kind of tirade end. And I'm going to see you guys next time I film a video. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great week.